Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dogs and cats, elves and zebras, gypsies and fairies. I'm not awake yet. I know the sun's shining, and the odd thing is the next 2 or 3 or 4 days, we're supposed to be hit with over 1.5 feet of snow, and we're supposed to get over 1 foot in just one night, so, but it always happens at the end of winter. So this video is about my pemmican. This is homemade pemmican. This is the bottom. You can see how it that's the top. So it's from Alderleaf Wilderness College or something like that. I'll see if I can get a link. It's a variation on one of their recipes. It's ground beef that was cooked. I had to cook the ground beef probably twice as long, and I also, the second time I cooked it, I increased the heat to 200 degrees Fahrenheit. I also put a I put 2 layers of paper towels down on the baking sheet to help soak up any fat and grease coming from the meat, and I changed that out several times. And hold on, hon. And it's almonds, pistachios, and cranberries that are in it, with ground meat. And I probably cooked it almost twice as long as it called for. And I used beef tallow, which you can actually see the empty jar right there. You can get that from James Townsend and Son, or that's what it used to be called. Now it's called Townsend's, or Townsend's. But you can also buy it from the people that make it, called Fatworks. Just Google them. Fatworksfoods.com maybe. And it was, let's see. Oh, they have recipes in here. Far out. Caldo de res. 14 ounces. So, alright. Yes, I'm making a video. Oh, talking to my beautiful girlfriend who's still in bed, and I'm not even awake yet, and I'm more than upset about the hospital visit the other night. But I have found three different ways to serve pemmican. You can just eat it as it is. You can eat it as it is. You can fry it. You can like melt it, or cook it like you're gonna make like a soup or a stew or whatever, and you can cook it like that. But like I said, I had to cook it longer and at a higher temperature, because it just wasn't working. Now, if I do this again, which I probably will, I'm gonna buy, or my plan is to purchase steaks instead, like cheap steaks, because I can get like a cheap steak for $5 or $6, and big ones, I mean big steaks, and they're very lean. And what I would do is I would throw them in the freezer for a little while so they get nice and firm, and then I would slice them thin and then I would cook them on a cookie sheet in the oven, and then I would, chop it up, grind it up. Because what I did was I put the meat, the berries, and the nuts in the blender. Although there were some nuts that were still mostly intact, and that's good. That gives you some texture and extra flavor, nutrition. But yeah, this is homemade pemmican. They still find this stuff out in the wilds from 100 or 200 years ago, and believe it or not, it's still edible. The voyageurs of what we would now call the Boundary Waters canoe area, which I've always wanted to canoe, but I've never had the chance because I don't have a canoe, and I wish I did because I want to canoe the Connecticut River. Because I can do the Connecticut River because we live here, but they still find pemmican that those guys buried, and it's still edible. And I also added honey to it. I added some honey. I just added honey. I didn't measure it. I just added some. Honey doesn't go bad, so, and it's good for you, and it's an antibiotic, a natural antibiotic. So anyway, so that's my pemmican. Look at that. Look at that.